Hello everyone, my name is Nujut. Today I'm going to interview Keely and she's going to tell us all about autism. Hello Keely, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and doing this interview because lots of people don't know much about the subject autism and we would like you to enlighten us a little bit.
Definitely.
So I'm going to start with the first question most people ask. What is autism?
So autism is when the brain works differently to normal people. So you can't contract it. People say vaccines give it to you. No, it doesn't give it to you. It's just a myth.
Okay. So how do we know that someone is autistic?
So sometimes they won't speak. Some people will just, be nervous around new people. They'll just feel uncomfortable.
So they won't speak up to a certain age or?
So if they're autistic, when they get to a certain age, they were fully aware of what sort of autism is. So they'll probably have to go to like a GP for them to be diagnosed.
Okay, and that's very interesting. Not many people know that. And when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed when I was 18. Before that, I had no clue I had autism. I just thought there was something medically wrong. But when I was 18, I was diagnosed, and I was really shocked that it was autism.
Okay, it's very interesting. If we can touch a little sensitive subject, how was it in school being autistic before you knew you were diagnosed?
So it was quite hard for me. People used to bully me a lot. They used to pull my hair. They used to throw stuff at me. They broke my phone, smashed my phone up. I went missing for 2 hours. My mental health spiked. Police helicopters were looking everywhere. And then when I come back, my mum went absolutely ballistic because I went missing. But I says to my mum, she asked me, why did you go missing? I said, I was bullied. And I was bullied till I was moved when I was 18.
That's something that's very moving. Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you. And I think you reacted, I can't say in the correct way, but that you were brave enough to say that you were bullied.
Yeah.
I think that was the right thing to do. Yeah. And when you realized that you might be autistic, what did you do immediately?
So I couldn't do anything back then. I was too young. I was around 12. Back then I didn't really understand what was going on. I would get angry and do certain things that I shouldn't be doing. And then when I got to about 18, I moved into a beautiful supported living with all the best staff.
Okay.
And they took me to a GP straight away because they knew there was something wrong. And then they immediately diagnosed me with it. It took them from being aged 12 to 18 just to diagnose a young girl that age.
Okay.
And I don't think NHS understand why it's important.
It's quite a long time to be diagnosed,
Yes.
I think. Yeah. So from the GP you went to the neurosurgeon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and what happened at the neurosurgeon?
So we spoke about like the possible factors, like it could have been ADHD, could be autism, could be, other sorts of things. And I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't look at that neurologist and say, I just couldn't do it. I was distracted. I was like looking outside, doing other things. And then as soon as she looked at me, she went, yeah, you're autistic. Very bluntly, and said, you're autistic. And I said, there's no way I can be autistic. But she went, you didn't know you was autistic since you was 12, and now you've been diagnosed.
So a big sign is when you're not concentrating
Yes.
with the person speaking to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, it's very interesting. And what kind of support strategies did you find to cope? What was your coping mechanism?
So with the mental health side, I had multiple therapists, but they didn't do anything. They just made it worse. And then I had GP appointments. My mental health got to a bad point to where I had to be on antidepressants. But they helped. The medication has helped. But I don't want to be on medication for the whole entire time of my life because my body would just depend on it.
Okay. So you feel that the therapist really didn't help you?
No.
They weren't connecting with you?
No.
What kind of questions did they ask?
So they asked, the main questions, like self-harm and all that. Obviously I had to be honest and say, yes, I did feel that way, but I had everyone around me to help.
Okay, interesting. Why do you think it's hard for people with autism to communicate with others?
So it's quite hard to communicate with others depending on what the subject is. So if it's something that's personal, they won't talk at all. Or if it's something that they're interested in, they'll be happy and bubbly and speak about it.
Okay, interesting. And you mentioned a little bit of that earlier, but is your mental health affected by autism?
Definitely, especially if people don't understand you and you will go into a bad state. I can talk about a scenario where my autism affected me quite badly. I used to be in a college and they put me in a school where kids were really, really, really bad behaved. I was like the receptionist in the desk. I just couldn't deal with it. So I left that lunchtime and I called 111 and said, I can't be around this. But I didn't answer the following phone calls, so they sent out paramedics just to check up, and I was absolutely fine after that.
Okay, so yeah, it was big communication problem, definitely.
Yeah.
So another important question is it easy for you to make eye contact with others?
No, it is not. Like I said, when I went to the neurologist, I wouldn't look at the neurologist, I would look out the window.
Okay, well, why is that, do you think?
I think I was just uncomfortable with the subject and the topic I was talking about.
Okay, so if you get comfortable with others, then you can easily make eye contact?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, wonderful. Can you read facial expressions of those around you?
Not very well. I can only tell if they're smiling, I know they're happy. But if they're upset or if they're angry, I can't really tell because sometimes their face is just straight.
Okay. Okay. There's the word sensory overload. Lots of people deal with sensory overload in a different way, but I hear that autistic people deal with it in a different way. Can you give us an insight on that?
So, sensory overload is when everything gets too much. So, for instance, this is quite funny. I was on the bus the other day going to town and I said to my boyfriend, can you smell that? He's autistic as well, but he couldn't smell it. So what's that smell? To me, it smelled like sick, but there was nothing there. He couldn't smell anything. Okay. So my sensory is high senses of smell.
Okay, they're heightened more.
Yeah.
Okay, and some people always link phobias and autism together. Do you think they're linked together?
Definitely not. Autism and phobias are two different things. I actually asked the doctor myself, are they linked? And he said no.
Okay, very interesting. And what kind of support did you get that made you manage to live with others?
So, like when I was in a children's home, they didn't understand me. They didn't put me on any sort of medication. And then when I went to move to supported living, where I am now, they deal with people who have autism, mild learning difficulties, like myself. And we're only allowed females, no males, only females only.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you so much for that, Keely.
Yeah.
I've just got one more question to ask. What are your top interests, the things that really interest you?
So I like my gaming, I like K-pop, I like sharks, and I also like going on holiday, especially to Dubai.
Ah, interesting. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that. I hope we've learned more about autism today. Thank you.
Thank you.